Welcome back to Deck Soccer Podcast, part of the Fan Six Pack. I am your almost on vacation host, Nick Z, over here with my very good friend, Mr. Jason Beckner. Jason, how are you today?
Doing good, man. You're right. We got the nation's holiday right around the corner, and feeling
250.
good. 250.
It's a big one.
Yep.
But before we truly get started with our great, amazing show here, I do have the cold open question of the weekend, and that's going to be: is Bryce Eldridge the best offensive prospect in baseball? 3, 2, 1, go. All right. I should have stated like fantasy relevant offensive.
Yeah.
I figured you would take that upon yourself.
Yeah. And I think he might be trending that way. I feel like Bryce Eldridge is definitely a buy. He's already going to be a pretty hefty price tag, I think, in Dynasty leagues, but I think that might start to get even bigger price tag going forward. I selfishly took him in a redraft league at the beginning of the year. I felt like there was some rumors of him making opening day roster, which obviously he did not. There was just a lot of crowded, with the signing of Luis Arise, they didn't really have anywhere to put Bryce Eldridge, but now he's back with the big league club, and he has been on fire. It took him some time, but really starting to take off, slashing 278, 378, 481, 6 home runs. He is walking a good amount. He's got 14% walk rate. He doesn't chase or expand the zone very much. He's got an 87% in-zone contact rate, which is good enough for a 141 WRC+. The hard hit rate is still not qualified yet, but it is near the tops of the league. Big, huge frame from the left side of the plate. Stands 6'7", 250. Uses a lot of that body frame to generate a lot of leverage and gets a nice launch angle going. I'm pretty sure we're going to see many McCovey Cove splash hits going forward.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And dude, it's crazy. He's still only 21. So I'm definitely interested to see where he ends up at the end of the season, like where we're at on like total counting stats. But I'm right there with you. With that left-handed swing, we're going to see a lot of homers. We're going to see the kayaks and canoes are going to be back in McCovey Cove for the next decade, catching Bryce Eldridge dingers. And honestly, I think it would probably be hard for me to put more than like 10 prospects above him as an offensive profiled player, especially like when we were going through first baseman this off season. I feel like prospect wise, it was kind of tough. There was like the Sal Stewart was there and he's been fine. He's been great. But I think we're going to see Eldridge really just blossom, especially in the second half of the season. You're currently muted.
How about now?
Perfect.
There we go. All right, so they currently, it's kind of curious to see what's going to happen with him going forward as far as fantasy position eligibility. I believe he's still his first base in many leagues because that's what he played in the minors. Now, though, they keep deploying him as the DH, and which is weird to me because I don't, you know him better than I do, but I don't believe Devers is the greatest defenseman, especially over at first base where he just moved to. So I'm curious why I don't know why they don't swap like, him and
it's because Devers won't be a DH.
That's true, and he's on a little bit of a tangent. He's continued to throw his temper tantrums. I saw the other day. Didn't want to come out for a pinch runner, which is kind of crazy because he's been, this is not a Devers pod, but he's been brutally bad. Moving out of Fenway has proven to be awful for him. But Bryce Eldridge going forward, I think he'll, hopefully he gets enough first base starts maybe near the end here and continue to keep first base eligibility because there's only a few guys that are DH worthy of your fantasy team. And that's pretty much Schwarber and Ohtani. Those are the only two guys that I would probably draft as my only utility only player. Those guys will just kill your flexibility when it comes to roster construction and everyday lineup, especially like in a day-to-day league, or it's like you take up one position that's only it's eligible for everybody, but only one guy can play there.
Yeah,
that kills that whole philosophy of having a deep bench for those guys to take the utility spot. So yeah, curious to see where Eldridge goes as far as position eligibility going forward. But yeah, I mean, even when you look at the advanced stats, I mean, the X WOBA, the X batting average, the X slugging are all in line with his current average and slugging on base. So it's not like this is like a fluke thing. He's a hitter, man. And
yeah, that's the exact way to put it. Is he's just a hitter, and those are great.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's Bryce Eldridge. We're gonna continue going on with these major league rookies here. A guy that just recently got called up. Someone that you're familiar with.
Yeah.
Braden.
Briefly familiar with.
Yeah, briefly familiar with. For that reason, he was returning the Garrett Crochet deal. And he finally made his debut this past, I think it was like a week ago.
Yep.
And it made an immediate impact by hitting a home run, a walk-off. I believe it's a walk-off
home run. It was a walk-off. It was sick.
Yeah, walk-off home run in his first game. But, right now he's slashing 314, 422, 548. Sorry, that was when he was slashing before getting called up at AAA and AA.
With 10 homers, which is pretty good. Like, when I was first kind of into the Montgomery thing when he was on the Red Sox, I wasn't expecting like 30, 40 home run pace, but that was what he was trending towards, at least in the minors. Currently has two homers in the big leagues with 7 RBI, hitting 250. So he's really not. He's seeing the ball, and we need to get the walks up, but right now he's as advertised, and he's someone that I'm excited because all offseason during our prospect previews, there would always be a White Sox. And it's continuing. I honestly would like to go back, and I feel like they've all been called up.
Yeah, I think we've talked about a White Sox player or prospect, and this is week 15, 14, something like that. Every week we basically talked about a White Sox player or prospect, and even prior to the season when we were doing our positional previews, prospect previews, there was a White Sox. And yeah, I think you might be right. I think they may have run the cupboard dry because Kyle Teal was just up recently.
Teal's back.
Yeah. So, yeah, they are bringing everybody up, and it's proving to be well because they're over 500 and leading the AL Central, which is kind of shocking.
I think it's too late for Montgomery if you're going to try and buy him currently.
Yeah,
I think you would have to wait for that slump that will eventually come once the pitchers once the book's out on you as a hitter.
Yep.
But right now, man, he seems like a perfect, not amazingly great perfect player, but like the perfect set him, forget him in your lineup every day.
Yeah, I'm curious to see where he goes. Like I said, the 10 home runs in the minor leagues this year so far was only in, I think, like 60 games. And with those 10 home runs, he had 90 plus RBI plus runs. So he's getting on base and driving runs in. He's a switch hitter, so it gives him obviously a strong upside when it comes to, a lot of times the rookies, they'll get platooned, but he's a switch hitter, so there's no platoon opportunity for him. So, I'm excited to see. Again, it's a small sample size right now in the major leagues. I do have him in a redraft league. Just one of those guys where it's like you can't miss on. You got to at least pick him up and hold him for a couple weeks, see what happens. If he catches fire, it's better to be on your bench and available to start than grabbing him off the waiver later. And then if a couple weeks go by and he's kind of just middling, then we'll just drop him. But I'm curious to see where he goes. I think the upside is huge there. Very nice hit tool. and kind of showing that right now at the minor league level and continue. Hopefully, it transitions at the major league level. Sorry. All right. Get over here to our next guy. Go from a couple of hitters into a pitcher. Someone that's been talked about many times on this show, and it's a very intriguing guy to talk about because was it like 2-3 years ago he was the number one pitching prospect, if not one of the number one prospect in baseball. But that's Andrew Painter, pitcher for the Philadelphia Flyers or Philadelphia Phillies. But yeah, he's off. He's if you look back at it, actually his last several years since getting hurt and having the Tommy John, he is just not returned to form. He currently has a 7 ERA with a 5.10 expected ERA. He was recently sent down to AAA because he's just been so god awful. But it's crazy because he's still getting a lot of whiffs on the secondary pitches and the strike rate is way down. It's below 20%. The K- walk rate's only 9%. Only has a 9% swinging strike rate, which is basically the bottom of the league. So he's just not fooling any hitters right now. And then when hitters are making contact, they're basically going over the fence. He has a 1.95 home runs to 9 innings. So yeah, he's basically giving up a minimum 2 home runs a game, which is top 5 in the league. There's only like 3 guys that are worse or right on the same level. Shota Imanaga, Mike Burrows, and there was one other guy. They were all right there with basically 2 home runs a game. And it's just awful, man. So it's just crazy to see the fall. Like I said, since coming back from that Tommy John procedure, he just does not look like the same pitcher, man. I don't know. You can't sell him, obviously, because no one's going to give you anything for him. I mean, the buy low opportunity would kind of be there if you have a deep roster. You could probably give up like basically nothing for him and hope that maybe, maybe a trip back to AAA, something can help him out. But you got to hold him for now, I think, unless you're in the boat of buying low. Right now would be the time to buy low on Andrew Painter.
Do you remember Forrest Whitley?
Yeah.
How could
I forget? I believe he was a top pitching prospect a couple years ago. Houston never panned out to be anything. Many Tommy Johns, I believe, for Forrest Whitley.
Yes.
Multiple.
My phrase for Andrew Painter is going to be get ready to learn Japanese.
You're not, yeah.
Because he is young enough at 23, 2 years in Japan, figure it out, 25, come get paid.
Yeah.
That Whitley is currently in Japan now. He's pitching well.
That's crazy. That's crazy update. I did not know.
Yeah. He plays for the Giants there, the team I actually saw.
Okay. Which is kind of funny because, like,
teammate.
Yeah, I mean, we see these guys go over there, come back, and they're just like a reformed pitcher.
There's something about it. They just kind of learn how to really pitch out there. He's currently, this is now before his Whitley show.
Yeah.
He's currently pitching. He's got, what's his ERA? His ERA is 2.6. He's 3-3. He's doing a good job out there. And again, he was born in 97, so he's 4 years younger than me. He's in his late 20s now. But I do think Painter might be broken. And like, it's crazy because we talked last week how we have our first 10-game winner, and it was Aaron Ashby. Well, like, Painter almost has the inverse. He's 1-8.
Yeah.
Like, he's not. He was pitching so poorly at all times whenever he touched the ball the last 3 years. I think this is kind of it. I would trade him, just trying to get rid of him, especially because I don't actually think he's going to go to Japan right now. But if he does in a lot of leagues, you then just have to cut him. So I'm curious to what his next move is. I mean, the Phillies, what a story. They fire their coach and they go on an absolute tear.
Right.
They were down there with the Sox and the Mets. The Mets finally fired their coach today.
Surprised it took that long after seeing the success of both the Philadelphia And then who was the other? There was another team too that fired their coach in the first, or the manager in the first like week of the season.
The Red Sox.
Yeah. There was somebody else I thought too, but anyways, the Mets finally did it last night or yesterday.
But I think the Phillies might have to move him. I don't know, like just because they're going to be buyers. They don't really have any blue chip prospects that I can think of off the top of my head. And there's going to be a team out there, maybe the Red Sox, honestly, or the Brewers. Well, the Brewers would be buying. But like you could see Painter get traded, Chapman, just to bolster that pen even more, Chapman and Sonny Gray, like that could be good enough to just get out of it, and then the Red Sox think they can fix him. I think he's a name that's going to get moved this cycle.
No, because there'll definitely be a team willing. Again, he's only 23. So, and it's funny because if you look at it, he started off the season really well. Prior to May 31st, he had only had 2 games where he gave up more than 4 earned runs. And a lot of them were 1 earned runs games, or 2 or less. And then something happened on May 31st, 4 earned runs, 6 earned runs, 5 earned runs, 6 earned runs. And a lot of that coming on home runs. So he's definitely fixable. Obviously, that's why the Philadelphia brought him down to AAA. Hopefully, try to fix him, figure out something. Maybe saving pitches. I haven't really heard anything like that, but yeah, he's definitely fixable. I think you're right. If they're looking to buy somebody, he's the perfect candidate for teams to be out there being like, hey, give us Andrew Painter, we'll fix him. There's numerous clubs that are known for fixing broken pitchers up and across the league. So
Brewers. He's gonna go the Brewers, and he's gonna be like a Cy Young candidate next season.
Yeah, don't even get me started. We faced the Brewers this weekend in Milwaukee.
Oh yeah, and they have them all out there.
Sorry, not we, the Cubs. Yeah, it's Mizorowski, Harrison, Woodruff.
Yeah, that's tough.
And we are running out. I mean, bro, the Cubs just had to trade for David Peterson. We lost 2 more pitchers over the weekend with Ed Cab and somebody else.
Did Ed Cab die? Like, that was crazy.
That was so weird. And like, I was watching the game, obviously, and I saw him fall. I'm like, that's weird. Why did he stretch so hard to make that play when he had plenty of time? And yeah, so like the Cubs have no pitching, and the Brewers are throwing out not only their 3 best, but 3 of the best in baseball. So it could get ugly this weekend for the Cubs. They're already trying to get back. They're 6.5 back of the Brewers, and they're struggling. Yeah, if Painter goes to the Brewers, man, it'll be like, I don't even know, like the 90s Braves rotation.
Yeah.
Unhittable, just winning. It's crazy. Let's not wish that into the existence right now. All right, that'll be wrapping up our Major League segment. Let's get into some prospects, everyone's favorite. A couple of new guys on this list here that kind of just, gaining some helium this year. The first guy is Karson Milbrandt of the Miami Marlins. He's currently at their AAA team. Had a really nice strong finish last year in 2025. I'm at AA. He was an Arizona Fall League All-Star last year, so had a really nice end of 2025. Kind of picking up where he left off last year. Really nice, starting pitcher. Got high-end velocity. The slider is probably his second best option, but right now the biggest thing with Milbrandt is the command. The command is still an issue. He's had a walk rate of 12% or higher every year in the minor leagues. So if you're walking guys in the minor leagues, it's only going to get harder as you get to the big leagues. Better advanced eyes at the plate. So I like what Milbrandt brings to the table, though. Like I said, the high-end velocity, really nice pitch mix. Just got to hone in that command. And I think, he's still young enough he can work on that command. But what are your thoughts on Milbrandt?
Yeah, he's in the tier for me where it's like not worth the risk. And I guess it would kind of be that, like, he's probably 3rd tier pitching prospect for me. The top tier being like the Cades, the Seth Hernandez is those like that echelon of guy. And then we have like the middle tier with the Thomas Whites. Even I mean Snelling's hurt, but Sloan, guys like that. And then there's this third tier that I'm kind of I would like to avoid as a dynasty owner. Just like the names there. So like he is a top 100 prospect when it comes to dynasty formats of prospect wise. But there's just too much risk. Honestly, I'd probably put Karson with Witherspoon in this same tier, just like the risk factor. But if Milbrandt was on the Red Sox, I'd be like the number one pitching prospect in all of baseball. So, but yeah, this is someone I'd definitely be selling because he's a top 100 guy. And since he was, I don't want to call him unknown a year ago, but if you're a competing team and you got him, your capital wasn't large in getting him. Like you picked him up off of waivers and he kind of hit. So I think the ROI on a Milbrandt would probably be high at this point. So that is the reason that I would be selling him.
Yeah, I mean, he was the 85th overall pick a couple years ago, so he probably went undrafted in many first-year player drafts. Can almost guarantee it, probably. But yeah, I'm looking for them more. So he was just recently promoted to AAA after spending a good chunk at AA. It's only been 3 starts, but his walk rate's up to 19% at AAA right now in 3 starts. So, it kind of ticked down a little bit, which was still 10% at AA this year in the so yeah, command's an issue. Yeah, I would be selling him if you can. Like I said, the ROI could be a nice for Karson Milbrandt right now because like I said, he's gaining helium. He jumped up in the top 100 guy. 10 snap, right? To notice this in the pitching prospects, self-pitching prospects for hitting. That's the way to do it. So good call on that.
And the Marlins, man, like they're kind of in it. They might even be looking to move him. Like,
right. He could be a guy that's the centerpiece of a big deal at the trade deadline here. So that's another good point as well. Let's see. Get into our next guy here. Celesten of the Seattle Mariners.
Yeah, it's Seattle and it's middle infield prospects.
Pitching in middle infield.
It's just a never-ending cycle of this, and you just kind of gotta trust it. So far this season, he's slashing .324 with an OPS of 942, 11 home runs, 17 stolen bases. Stolen bases in high A is kind of a inflated stat, but you're still doing it. 6'1", 175 pounds, built to kind of stay at that shortstop position. I'd say if he was a little bit taller, you might have to move him to third just for like more of a dexterity thing. Only 20. I think we might have just kind of that next wave of like, they had like the Cole Young, they had the Edwin Arroyo, they had all of these. I do think this could be one that gets traded just because I don't know where they're going to fit everyone. But yeah, this is a good player. I think he was signed I think he was signed as an international guy a few years back. So again, one of those kind of names that we've kind of heard about just because he's been around for so long, but it's finally starting to kind of figure it out. And yeah, I'm interested where like Michael Arroyo, like that's like, there's so many middle infield prospects for the Mariners. And yeah, I'm interested to see where this kid ends up, whether it be maybe moving the outfield. I don't know. Where you at on Felnin?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. We just talked about a pre-show. He just hit for the cycle. It only took him 7 innings to do it, which is I found kind of funny too because I was like looking at a lot of the highlights of that. Did you know that they were playing somebody, someone that plays at the University of Oregon's field? So the cycle came in a college stadium, which I thought was kind of interesting. But yeah, pitching prospects and middle infield prospects. That's one thing Seattle loves, and they seem to have an abundance of. But yeah, he has a really nice approach at the plate. Doesn't strike out a lot, doesn't chase, doesn't expand the zone. He's only got a 19% strikeout rate, and to go along with his 12% walk rate. So he obviously has a nice approach at the plate. Can hit for really well. He's got some speed. Again, we talk about the stolen base numbers being, a little bit of take with a grain of salt at low minors. But yeah, 17 stolen bases in 65 games. So, I mean, if you see no stolen bases at the minor league level, that's something to be concerned with.
Yes, exactly.
Obviously, like 40 to 50 a year is probably someone that's going to be a pretty good speedster, and he's probably on pace for that right now. But to me, it's like, where do these guys set themselves apart, right? We talked about the Arroyo, Celesten. These guys all just kind of seem to be that same archetype. So they're probably going to end up being some sort of like trade bait, or trade, not bait, but trade assets, tradable assets.
Yes.
So we'll see where he goes going forward. But I do like the outlook on him. I feel like he's got at least the ability and the upside to make it to the majors and have an impact at the major league level. So definitely worth rosterable. I wouldn't probably buy him, but definitely worth holding if you do. And then I would sell too if you can. If you get a nice, include him in one of your deals here at the trade deadline to see if you can, maybe bolster that championship roster that you have going. Which Nick are you still currently in first place in our joint Dynasty League? You started to run away with it. I think the last time I looked, you were like a 7-point.
Yeah, I'm no longer 7. It's 3.5. But it's just pitching. So like once my pitchers pitch, I should be able to jump back up to that 7. I do enjoy where I'm at currently. If I win this, Jason, I'm going to lose my mind.
I know. A little bit of context. Me and Nick joined this league, and we did a dispersal draft. I think was that 2 years ago or just last year? It was just year. Yeah. So this will be our second year in the league. I've been clawing back pitching. I don't know if you noticed, but my ERA is now kind of.
Oh, dude, you almost caught up to me in WHIP.
Yeah. Well, thanks to a large part of some of the trades we've made, right? Drew Rasmussen's been awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for dropping Ian Seymour. I picked him up off the waiver.
Good.
He's been awesome for me. So basically, just the Tampa Bay Rays pitching staff has really helped out. But yeah, the ERA is kind of got back in line with the WHIP. So I'm now I think top 4 in ERA and still second place with WHIP. So
yeah,
which is funny.
Yeah, I'm nervous about this one. I just want to hold on. Yeah,
that was my issue. I faded at the end last year. I was in third place for almost the whole season. Could not get over that third place hump, and ended up falling down to 6th place near the end. I think my pitching kind of declined. My biggest thing by my ERA has been climbing, or my point wise, not to get off too much of a tangent, but it's really important to at the beginning of the year, I was like, whatever, just run anybody out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then once I noticed that my ERA was literally 12th place, I was like, maybe I should sit guys
against a bad matchup.
Yeah, who did I just had somebody yesterday. It was an awful matchup. Or I stopped pitching guys against the Dodgers. Stopped pitching guys that were in Colorado, things like that, and it's kind of helped out a lot. But that's
the more you know.
Yeah, think about that next time, especially down the stretch here in Roto.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be interesting to see. Those ratios are hard to adjust when it comes September. Even right now, one good start only lowers your ERA by the 100th of a decimal.
0.011.
Yeah. Like Drew Rasmussen when he did that 7 or 8 innings, 1 hit, no runs. I think my ERA went down 2/100ths of a spot. So that's why it's good to get ahead of those ratios early in the season and work on the counting stats at the end.
Exactly.
Let's jump over to our next guy here. Another shortstop prospect. JoJo Parker.
We love shortstops.
We do. I mean, if you think about it, all the top prospects are either outfielders or shortstops for the most part. They move off those positions once the team has a need for them. But, the 8th overall pick in last year's draft. Super athletic. Really nice, solid hitter. Got a disciplined approach with the play. He's got a 17% walk rate currently. He did not play for them last year after being drafted. This was his first professional season. So 17% walk rate. Hits the ball to all fields. He's got a 40% opposite field hit rate. This guy to me looks like a prototypical top of the order bat. He's going to steal bases, score a lot of runs, get on base for you. And to me, I'd be selling JoJo. I like where he is right now, but I think as being basically, some people may have just drafted him this February, depending on when you hold your first year player draft. So the value's still there for him, and he's producing well. But I don't know. I just don't know if he evolves into like a super power hitter. I think he's more like a hit over power type guy. But the power could have been, again, I think he's only 19 or 20 years old, so still a lot of maturity to go in that bat, and that body could obviously project a little bit more for the power. But right now, I would not project a lot of power for him. So I'd be curious to see. You could definitely probably get a nice return on him. But what's your thoughts on JoJo?
Yeah, I mean, since he was such a high pick in your first year player draft, I think if I own him, I'm probably holding because I was like a top 5-ish pick, just because you're not a great team unless you had like a massive turnaround, like you had
Right.
Ford Walker on your team and randomly became good. But yes, I'm probably buying him wherever I can, just because it's there. 200 pounds, 6'2", shortstop. Obviously, he's a couple years away, but like the Blue Jays don't have a shortstop that's like their shortstop for the next 10 years. So the opportunity will be there. On base, well over 380, hitting about as much as I'd expect a 20-year-old to hit in his first year. So yeah, this is someone I'm definitely interested in. I think we're gonna see him. I think next year might be that, like, because like in most rankings, you're seeing him as like a top 50 guy. I'm seeing him probably bounce into that top 10 maybe next season after we get some of these graduations, and he's just upping his value. So yeah, I'm in on JoJo.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think aside from like the guys that were like making an immediate impact, like like Akamoto and
Like he was being picked before
Amai.
Willits.
Yeah, like JoJo was very highly well regarded. Again, I think like there was like maybe like the only other guy from the draft that is actually drafted last year may have been Cade, maybe taken higher. But other than that, like he was probably the first prospect hitter taken in the draft. So you're right. Like if you have him, you spent a pretty high draft pick on him. So he most likely will not be able to pry him from somebody's roster unless they're obviously in contention, which they probably weren't picking that high. So, but speaking of talking about like the Toronto not having any prospects, not having any shortstop available at the major level. Did you know another shortstop prospect they have, Arun Namaha? I think that's how you pronounce it. The Indian kid that was drafted a couple years ago. Yeah, I was looking today. He has been, I think he was drafted in 2023. He is still yet to advance past. Now again, he was a high school prep draft pick, but he's still only 20. He is yet to advance past. Oh, sorry, he does have a small sample at AA this year. Finally, he was promoted this year, but yeah, here's something that I'm like, man, drafted in 2023, pretty high in your first year player draft, and we're just now getting the AA 3 years later. Again, prep arm or probably prep hitter, so there's going to be some growing pains there. You're going to take a couple years to get through those low minors, but I just thought that was interesting when I was looking up, Toronto's depth at the shortstop position. I was like, man, this was the guy I thought would sure be at AA sooner than right now.
Yeah, I was going.
All right, that was off on my Arjun Namala tangent. We've gone off a lot of tangents on this episode, which I love. That's what the show's about, right? We talk about some guys, and they bring us down some different roads, different tangents.
As long as it's baseball.
Exactly. No Fedora talk.
No Fedora talk.
That's it.
We are not going to have a show next week. So
correct. We have the nation's 250th birthday. We will be out of town. There will not be a show. Everyone take a break. Everyone enjoy some family time, some
hot dogs,
America
some
time.
burgers.
hot dogs, burgers. I'm going to a ball game on July 2nd. It is $1 hot dog day. I keep teasing my kids that I'm going to do the 999 challenge.
Okay.
And I'll report back on that that endeavor on next episode.
I can't wait to hear about that.
Yeah, we also have we're ambitiously hoping to do a mock draft with the other podcast. We had Dave last week.
Two guys, one roto.
Yep. Hopefully the four of us will get together, do a mock draft because the MLB draft is now a mere 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
So in a couple weeks we'll have a mock draft for you guys. But yeah, happy birthday to America.
Happy birthday, America. Cheers.